Hey everybody, how are you doing? My wife and I ran out this morning. We had some errands to run, and while we were out, I ended up noticing something about the car. Let me show you. Yep, that's a screw sticking out of the sidewall of the tire. I went and got the floor jack out of the shed, and I went in the house and grabbed a kid. It's time for a teaching moment. Well, that worked out really well. That was the first time my son has ever had to remove a tire from a car. I thought it was a good idea to show him. My daughter can do it. I've brought her out before. I've had her do a lot of things, normally because she's the biggest complainer when you ask her to do something. And that's kind of my rule. When I go in, I say, hey, I need help. The first person that complains, they get the job. And my daughter does not like to do things around the house, right? Or anything like that. She just doesn't want to mess with it. So she'll say, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Guess what? You got the job. So she's done tires, she's done windows, she's done oil changes, she's done all kinds of stuff like that. But I wanted to get my son out here because, they're driving. My other son is unfortunately doing homework right now, or he would have been out here too. And when the tire comes back from the shop, I'll bring him back out and have him go ahead and put it back on the car. But here's what we're looking at. We went ahead and went through my wife's car and compared it to my car, because in her car, she has a scissor jack and a spare tire, and then she has the tools to remove the tire and all of that. In my car, you don't have any of that. There is no spare tire, there is no jack, there is no tool to remove the bolts. Basically, there is an air pump where you can pump it back up. It's more of a tire repair kit than anything. So it's a little different. We had to go get a 2.5 ton floor jack. And only reason we got 2.5 ton is that just happens to be the one that I have. I have a special tool that goes under the car for the pinch weld, and the jack presses against that and lifts the car up. Afterwards, I didn't want to leave the jack here because it was sticking out right here, and we need to pull my wife's car back in. And I was concerned if they accidentally clipped it with the car or something, we could have a bad accident. So I got a 4-ton floor jack there, or a 4,000-pound 2-ton floor jack there. We put it up under the suspension and lowered it. I've got chocks in the front. And we went through all of this, right? Don't jack a car up on uneven ground. We did the whole thing, and I've got the tire over here. What I need to do now is I'm gonna clean it because it's dirty, and I'm gonna put it in the wife's car, and I don't want to get all of that road grime in her vehicle. So I'm gonna take it out and just clean the tire, get it all nice and clean. And tomorrow we'll take it to the shop, and hopefully they'll have it done Tuesday, and we'll get it back on Tuesday. I've said it before and I'll say it again. At some point, I need to order a donut for this car. I think they're about $100, and I'm also going to probably have to order a scissor jack and the jack wrench, right? The lug wrench. I've been meaning to do it. I just have not done it. But I have no idea where I got that. Let's take another look at that screw. You can see it's right in the sidewall, and I'm nervous about them. They're not going to want to fix that. But I also noticed something else here. The tire still got a decent amount of meat left on it. Where are you at? Right there. Look at that. I've got a nail right there as well. So we're going to end up having to get 2 patches done on that tire. After we got the tire off, since I had his attention, we have a closet door in the house that was acting up. You know how the closet doors, they shut and they have like a little spring ball at the top that go, there's a latch or a strike plate up there, and it lets it, close and open. Well, because the closet is in a bathroom, you got the moisture all the time from the steam from the shower, and it kind of gets to where the lubrication in there just doesn't work as well, and they kind of stick, and you got to really pull on the closet door. So I showed him how you remove that little ball mechanism, how you clean it. We lubed it back up with some oil, put it back in. I showed him how to adjust it so it's a nice, clean, easy open and close. So, he doesn't appreciate that now, but eventually when he has his own place, and he's able to solve a problem on his own, he'll be happy that I showed him. So, okay, I'm going to clean this tire, and then I'm going to try to get in the shop a little bit today. I don't know how much time we'll have. Hopefully we get some shop time here shortly, because I got some things I want to fiddle around with. Well, I got everything done. The tire's clean, and it's over there drying. I'll put it in the car, and we'll drop it off tomorrow after work. What I'm doing now is I've just been going around the shop the last few minutes, cleaning up from the live that we did Friday night. Friday during the day, I spent time setting up and kind of in my mind going over, okay, we're going to cut this. We need this tool, that tool, this, getting everything ready. We did a live. I think the live went fairly well. We had a little trouble with the first blank. I was making 2 blanks at a time just in case, and I'm glad I did that. The first blank, I got all the cuts done right. The second blank, I forgot to rotate it one time, so I ended up cutting out the slice of wood that I put into the blank and having to reinsert it. So I said, okay, pause, leave this blank alone. Let's turn this one. So we went and turned the first one, and I had an issue. I think the CA was still wet inside the blank. The activator dried it on the outside, but it didn't dry all the way through because a chunk of the walnut was pulled out from the inside of the blank. And I must not have had it perfectly centered because I could never, no matter how far down I turned it, and I turned below the bushings, it was concave, I could not get the knot to appear. So I said, okay, let's bag this one. We came back over. We made our final cuts, fixed up the blank that we had messed up because I glued a new piece in it and had made the other cuts. Took it over, turned it. It turned perfectly. Now, I will say that if you look at the knot on the pin, and this is the pin that we turned, it looks like the bottom is a little smaller than the top. See how it alternates? I don't know what caused that unless we were maybe a fraction off center, but still the pin is gorgeous. It actually turned out beautiful, which made the thing a success. It was a 2.5 hour live. So, and and I had if I had to dig for stuff and set stuff up as I went, it would have been 3.5 hours. I mean, it'd have been another hour and a half probably. But I thought it was successful for the very first one. I do plan to do some more. We need to kind of dial it in to where I can get it in an hour and a half, whatever I demo, because I don't want to, I mean, people are not going to want to watch a 2.5 hour video. So it's just, and it's a lot of work. So we'll start working on that. We'll have another one for you guys coming up. But overall, I was really happy with how it turned out. But I made a mess because I didn't stop. I've been really good lately about use a tool, put a tool away. And I didn't do that during the demo. I just left everything where it laid. At the end of 2.5 hours, I was exhausted. My daughter was tired because she spent 2.5 hours out here with me watching a computer and giving me questions. So we just said to heck with it. I shut the lights off. We went in. And then yesterday, I went to Louisville for the day to the Street Rod, the IHSA, International Street Rod Association, had a car show there, and it was awesome. I had a great time. Went to visit my folks, and then came back last night and was too tired to do anything in the shop, so I let it sit messy. But today I'm going to run through. I've got about half of it cleaned. There's a few more things I got to pick up and put away, get out of the way. Things just need to go back where they were, and then I'm just going to start goofing off. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but hopefully by the time I'm done cleaning, I will have run across something. And I have some ideas for some projects. I do have some pins over there I need to get turned and filmed for you guys. I just don't know exactly where I'll start. So I'm going to kind of work that out in my mind as I go through this. So I'll keep you guys posted on what happens today. Woo, it's been a busy day. I'm all set up here. I have got a couple of Celtic knot blanks, 1, 2, 3, 4 going right now. It took a long time to get here. I had a couple of false starts. What happened is I cut some pieces to go inside of the slices, and turned out that they were a little too small. So basically I cut these, and then I made my cuts in my blanks, found out that these were too small. So then I came back, I had to tear everything down, reset up, and cut some larger pieces. So I'm good now, and I've got those larger pieces glued in, and you can see that they are just slightly above the surface, which is good. That means there's not going to be a lot of cleanup, but the idea is just to see how easily I can make these blanks. And I'm making them with Titebond 2, and I wiped it off, but I put a liberal amount on there because Titebond, it's good stuff. It's actually going to create a bond that's stronger than the wood itself, so those should hold fairly well for turning. I really thought that I would actually get to work on a couple of things while I was out here, but that has just pretty well monopolized my time. I don't know how much more of that I'll get. I know that I have a podcast to record here shortly, so I can't work too much longer. I don't think I'll finish those tonight. I'll get 2 sides done, maybe 3 if I'm lucky, but I don't really anticipate getting past 3 sides. But when I'm done, I should have some really nice blanks, and I probably will turn one of those for you guys in a video. I know I owe you guys so many videos. Let me turn around and show you what I've got. I've got this Omega fountain pen ready to go. I've got this, this is a Junior Joshua of the hybrid from, this came from Robert Dudinsky. Then we chose the blank. This blank is going to go on the Omega Rollerball. I was going to use this blank. I could not find a 10mm tube. Man, I was really frustrated. We do not have a Woodcraft or a Rockler or any type of a store like that local. Yesterday I was in Louisville. I was at my folks' house for a little bit. When I left their house, I passed right by Woodcraft on my way to I-64. I swung in, I walk up to the door is locked. I look at the sign, they close at 5. I look at my phone, it's 5:03. So I was gonna swing in there and get myself a 10 millimeter tube so that I could rebuild that blank. That didn't happen. So I guess I'm gonna have to order one online, which I hate to do because it's $8.95 shipping for like 7 tubes, and the tubes are only like $9.95. So I don't see where I have much choice, so I'm kind of biting the bullet on that, but eventually we'll get there. So I've got all of those blanks laid out to turn, and there's supposed to be videos for you guys. I just have really gotten hung up on this trying to figure out this blank making because I have so many ideas, but I've got to get good at making the basic blanks. You know, you've got to have good glue joints, good clean lines. And if you don't, there's no sense in trying to go any farther because you got ugly blanks. You're just going to make uglier blanks. And that was the issue I had with some of the first blanks I made, the Charlie Brown blanks. They were ugly because of the joints in the wood. That's the kind of stuff I got to figure out, and that's the kind of stuff I'm experimenting and playing with. This takes away a lot of time from making turning videos, but figuring this out means better, higher quality pin blanks in the future. And once you start working on them, you do something, then you think, oh man, I did this, and if I just change this by this much, or I flip this over, you get all these ideas. And I've got tons of ideas. It's just a matter of, I got to get better. I don't want to make a bunch of ugly, crummy looking pin blanks. I want to make some seriously nice looking blanks. So we're going to work on that. I'm going to let you guys go for a little bit. I got a few more things I'm going to work on. I'll let you know how much farther I get on these before I go record the podcast. But if you haven't checked out the podcast, go to your favorite podcast software. Search for You Made That. That will be the podcast. It'll pop up. There's no other podcast really close to that. So, it's close to that name. But if you just type in You Made That, you'll find our podcast. Check it out. I don't know. We've got about 10 episodes out now. So if you like it, you can maybe go back and binge listen. Some are better than others. I think each time we do a show, it gets a little better. It gets a lot more fun. The rapport between the 3 hosts of the show, Rebecca DeGroot, Mike DeLautre, and myself, is getting really good. We're getting comfortable with one another. And man, I'm super excited about how it's going. So please go over and check that out. I'm going to let you guys go for a little bit and see what else I can do in the shop while I wait for this glue to tack up enough to make cut number 2. I have the tubes drilled into both of my blanks. I used epoxy and the same method that I use for gluing tubes into wooden blanks, acrylic blanks, any other blanks that I produce here in my shop. I did have a tiny bit of a scare, and it's kind of a funny story. I mixed up my epoxy. I roughed up a couple of tubes. I went to insert the first tube into the pin body blank. It would not fit. So I stuck it into the cap blank, and it was too small. What happened is I grabbed a set of Sierra tubes that I had on my table. These tubes were still in the bag. So once I found out what I had done, it was very simple to scuff up a couple of new tubes. They fit perfectly, and we're going to let them set and dry overnight. Well, as I suspected, I didn't get very far on my blanks. I got 2 sides cut. I probably could have squeaked out 3, but I started working on those True Stone blanks. And everything that I learned about them is you just need to take your time and go slow. So I got them measured, I got them cut, I drilled them. I've got the tubes epoxied in them right now. I'll show them to you. And I just basically took a ton of time. I went super slow. We didn't get any blowout on the back end of either tube. They are way too long. You can see the tube, how far down in there it is on that blank. And it's even farther on that blank. So, I could have saved maybe this much of the blank, but what would I make out of that? So I'll cut those off, and we'll see if we can't use them somewhere. But I am super excited that I got them that far. Now we're going to let them dry overnight. We'll cut them to length, and we'll be ready to go to the lathe. I've got a couple of, I've made 2 cuts on these. They're probably about 10 minutes away from 20 minutes, maybe 8 minutes away. I don't think I'm going to take a chance to try to cut them again tonight because it is almost 5 o'clock and I have a 6 o'clock recording, so I need to get in the house. I want to grab a shower because I've been out here sweating all day. I had to work on the car, so I got dirtier than I thought I would get today. And I think we're going to go ahead, go in, clean up, probably eat a little dinner, and then we're going to have our podcast tonight. So I'm really excited about that. Please check it out. And when you check it out, let me know what you think of it. I mean, we are excited about doing the podcast. And if people like it, we're going to want to do it more. We're going to want to do it longer, for a longer amount of time. If people don't like it, then perhaps we're wasting our time and maybe we should stop and do something else. So just check it out, see what you think, and give me some feedback. You can give me feedback here, or you can give me feedback over at the email address for the podcast, which is makers@ymt.com. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. This is it for me. I'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.